Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Why don't you love me like I know you could?
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, it's Friday. When you hear that music, it must mean that Kelly Hart is somewhere in the premises, in the building, in the vicinity.
I'm here.
She's right here, right next to me. Kelly is the editor and writer for Ocala Magazine, or one of the editors. I never understand how that whole business works. Anyway, this is Ocala Magazine Radio, and no guest today. What happened?
Well, I didn't run them off, if that's what you're wondering. We're doing a transition because the new issue, the November issue, has not yet come out.
Okay.
So we don't want to bring anybody in, reveal anything.
Oh, so this is the intermission between editions.
So this is an intermission. So we're moving from Best of the Best, which all the voting is over and all the votes have been tallied, and everyone will find out in December in that issue who won. So we're excited about that. And then in the next few days, we'll be releasing our new issue for November.
All right.
And you'll get to read about all of that, and we'll have our guest that month. So for now, it's kind of an intermission.
So it's interesting because you, in order to do the radio show and the magazine, you have to think way ahead for the magazine.
Yes.
And you have to be talking today for the radio show.
Right. I know. Luckily, I can do both things.
So you have to have foresight and current sight.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, with the magazine, you're always planning ahead. So right now, we're working on December, we're working on January, even a little bit into February.
Okay.
So we can't talk about things that are obviously going to change. And if they do, then we have to go in and make those changes and get everything updated.
So would I be disrupting your plan for today if I had a question for you?
No.
Okay. In the course of doing the show, you and John have brought in some really interesting topics.
Yes.
Have you had one that is the most fun? Because I've got one. I've got one show that you guys did that I thought was
the
I don't know if
fun?
that's my favorite, but it was one of my favorite topics.
Okay, what was it?
No.
Oh, you're asking me first?
Yeah, you answer first.
Okay.
Was there one you enjoyed doing?
Oh, gosh.
That really sticks out, like it was so fun.
Well, they're all pretty fun because everybody is different.
Right.
I meet, anytime someone comes in as a guest, the chances are I've already talked to them before, interviewed them, written about them. I liked whenever we had Brad Nemo from Habitat, that group that was there that day, the charitable organizations, probably just because those types of things are near and dear to my heart personally.
Right.
So it was probably that little segment that day about...
Well, we were talking about frugal celebrities this morning, and the frugal celebrities are not just frugal because they're cheap, but they're frugal because they like to give their money away. So they're the philanthropy of somebody who can really give a lot, per person. We do as Ocala.
Sure.
On average. I bet, that story in the Bible about the lady who puts a penny and everybody's making fun of her?
Yes.
And then Jesus says, hold on a minute, she gave more than you.
Yeah.
If you look at the worth that that's my paraphrased version of the story. So I think that's the way it is in Ocala. I mean, a lot of people give more than somebody who could give more.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Well, and I think a lot of people hesitate to give because they think, what's my dollar going to do?
Right.
But what if 100 people said, what would my dollar do?
Right.
Now we're talking about $100, and that can do a lot for somebody and feed a lot of people and clothe a lot of people. So, don't ever be discouraged to be giving. So what was your favorite shop?
My favorite one was the one where you talked about the favorite resorts that you went to.
Well, that was fun for me because I actually got to go to some, amazing places. John got to
So
go.
are you surprised that somebody who didn't go, me,
Yeah.
loved it? Because it was it's an interesting observation if you realize how we live vicariously through other people sometimes.
Well, we do. I mean, that's the beauty of stories. Like, I went on vacation. Oh, tell me about it.
Right,
I've got a new boyfriend. Oh, tell me about it. We want to know all of these things about
I never
people.
asked that one. I never said, who cares?
I won't ever ask you about your new boyfriend.
Guy. Yeah, never asked that one, yeah.
No, I won't ever ask you about that.
I got a new friend.
But you want to know
puppy.
things about people. Well, if you're generally a good, authentic person, you want to know about other people, and how can you do that except through storytelling? Which is why it's so amazing all the guests we have in, because they all have such different stories about what they do and where they're from and the businesses that they run.
And there is a lot of truth to the fact. Here's the thing. One time I heard Judy Garland. Somebody was talking about Judy Garland, and they said, she's one of the most giving entertainers that we know of. And I thought, I wonder what they mean by that. Is she giving away her money? What is it? She's giving her talent or whatever. I think I understand this now, because that was when I was a kid. I think just because you're getting paid doesn't mean you're not giving something.
Sure.
And in fact, you can give more if you're paid.
Right.
And a good example is Disney World. Not to pick on Disney, but it's a good example because you're paying what, $100 now to get in there.
Easy.
But what are they giving you? A great day, right?
Right. Memories with your children.
The restaurant people you had in here.
Yes.
Right. You pay for your meal.
Yes, you do.
But they are actually giving you.
Oh, sure.
A great time.
If they're a good business, they're giving you more than just what you order on the menu. I think you should leave feeling like you got great service, some great entertainment, the atmosphere was nice, everything was, but that's what separates people, when they give, there are people that will go in and they clock in and they do their job and then they clock out and they don't think about what they're doing in between. They just do what they have to do to get by.
So how far ahead are you planning the things for the magazine?
Well,
what month are you in right now in your head?
In my head, January.
January, okay.
Yes. Although, Best of the Best, of course, is something that we're actually in the middle of doing for the December issue. We're planning ahead for January, because the holidays are hard. Not just for us, they're hard to get in touch with people. So we have to do a lot of things ahead of time. Because to reach out and do an interview in the middle of December when people are on vacation, it makes it more difficult.
Oh,
so,
right.
We don't want the quality of our magazine to slack off just because it's more difficult. So that means we just have to work a little harder and plan ahead to make sure that everything is consistently wonderful.
Here's another question for you.
Okay.
And please, I'm not kissing up to you. This is my observation. You're very smart.
Thank you.
And you're a very good writer.
Thank you.
And you are very good at the ad-libbing necessity of live interviews.
Thank you.
So when you are putting together an interview and it's a written interview, do you approach it differently than an oral interview like you do here?
Sure, yeah. And everybody is different. I had to make the transition from writing to now editorial, which is, first, like, for example, John would call me.
You mean for the magazine?
For the magazine.
Right.
John would call me as a writer and say, here's the story, here's the contacts, do your job. Get it written and get it back to me. Now, I'm doing those things for people. So there's a little bit more preparation, a little bit different direction that goes into those things. Right. But the preparation for some people, they want to meet, they want to sit down, they just want to tell you. You write, you sketch, you record it on your phone, you do what you have to do. There are people who want to really think thoroughly about their answers. Can you email me all the questions? Give me...
don't you hate that one?
And so it's hard.
So we get that too.
It's really hard sometimes, but we have to do what is best for the person that we're interviewing because when I put together something and that person reads it about themselves, I want them to think, oh my gosh, she got it. This is it.
That's right, yeah.
And if that means through email or if that means through sitting down and listening, whatever that means, you have to be really flexible. And in here, it's kind of the same thing. You call them and you let them know, we want you to be a guest on the show, and this is our topic. And sometimes they want to know ahead of time bullet points of what the questions will be, which is hard for me because sometimes there aren't. It's you go with the flow and you feed off of the answers and things that they say.
Something else you might not have thought about.
But it's scary for people that don't want to be caught off guard on the show. They don't know what I'm going to ask, and so they want some. So usually there's a guideline, and I tell them I'm not going to ask you anything tricky or set you up or make you look silly on the show.
That's what I always tell them
so
too.
Just trust me on this.
And especially the talk show reputation.
Right.
You've got that, and not TV, but radio talk show, especially conservative radio TV, have this reputation. You're going to be somehow trying to trick them into saying something. And then couple that with political guests.
Oh, yeah. Well, we live in a world where people like to take something that you say, and then they like to twist it around and add a few of their own little interjections, and then next thing you know, you've said that you hate Ocala. It's like, wait, the sentence started out as, I hate that I no longer live in Ocala. Right. And next thing you know, it's on the radio that Kelly said she hates Ocala. So I can understand where people would be scared to come in, say things impromptu, and be recorded and know that there's gadgets and things that could, I guess, technically change what they're saying. But that's not what WOCA does anyways, or Ocala Magazine. We want to give the best absolute projection of that person.
I like when somebody says to me, sometimes, Larry, you're awful. And then what I'll do is I'll edit it, and it'll sound like, Larry, you are awesome. I can actually change it to say that.
Well, I guess, in that case, sure. Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah. If someone says that you're awful and you can change it to awesome, go for it.
As long as they say sometimes, then I have the some syllable in there.
Well, sometimes we're all awful. Let's be honest. Sometimes we're all awful.
So did you have a good yesterday? Did you have a good?
I did. It was
Halloween. You
fantastic.
celebrate Halloween. See, yesterday we did a little Halloween special in the morning. It was
Okay.
like a 15-minute thing, and afterwards, and I don't know if anybody took this the wrong way, but I apologized for anybody who doesn't like their religion. They don't recognize it because I don't want to offend anybody, and I
Sure.
respect everybody's religion.
Right.
So.
Yes. We had a great day. We do celebrate holidays. We celebrate Halloween. It's not so much that we celebrate Halloween. I don't
Right.
decorate my house with spooky creatures or, buy into the whole concept of all that kind of stuff. But Lily is 7, so she's not looking at it as it's any religious affiliated type holiday. She just knows
Right.
there's costumes involved and there's candy. And those two things together,
Yeah, it's fun.
it's fun.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine not.
Did you dress up? You dressed up. I saw you online.
Well,
what were you?
I had a cute little witch's
Great
hat and a
Gatsby
little
woman? Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay,
It's kind of like a
okay.
vintage witch type hat and the black dress, and
Uh-huh,
although the clothes weren't mine, it wasn't anything I bought. It was just all black. So, it's fun. It was fun.
Pretending
I wore
to
it
be something?
work. Yeah. Well, just yeah.
Did you ever think about what we do as children? If I saw a home movie of you
Mm-hmm.
when you were little, playing on the carpet or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
what were you playing with? What were you doing?
Art, mostly art.
Always drawing,
Always drawing.
painting.
I wasn't much into dolls. I wasn't much into. I was a tomboy. My father owns a sawmill,
And I know
so
what
there
that
was a lot
means.
of
So when I ask
tomboy.
you what does that mean, I don't mean I don't know what it means.
Mm-hmm.
I say, what does that mean? I mean, what do you mean by that? What do you mean you were a tomboy? What were you doing?
Active, outside,
It's all girls,
which,
isn't it?
well,
Some girls are girlier.
I think, times have changed now. It's
Yeah.
you can do everything inside, girls or boys, video games, and
Yeah,
you don't have to even have friends or much of an imagination anymore. And I had a huge imagination. I was an explorer going out and finding, digging, and I was an archaeologist one day, and the next day, I'm a zookeeper, and I had all these pretend animals. But so I had quite an imagination, but I was
Really?
an only child up until I was 6 or 7 when my sister was born. So there wasn't a lot of people to play with. It was just me. So I had quite an imagination. I think that's where art is such a great thing because your imagination kind of comes to life.
And you are an artist. Look at what you brought in. You brought a block with WOCA on it. It's a very, very artistic.
Dan's only been asking me for that sign for weeks, so I finally remembered to bring it in.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So here's my theory.
Uh-huh.
My theory is that if you saw the video of anybody at all when they were children,
Mm-hmm.
and you got them in their moment of playing,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that they wanted to play, the game, the art activity, whatever it was, then you can sort of see their future. And the
Mm-hmm.
word pretend means to pre-do.
Mm-hmm.
The word to make believe means to make yourself believe that's what you're doing.
Right.
Like you became an artist. And I haven't asked you this, but are you writing a book?
I'm not. It's on my bucket list.
It's on your bucket list.
It's on my bucket list. It's
because
been
you
something
see,
I've
you know why
wanted
I
to
asked you
do.
that?
Why?
Because you just told me when you were a child you were very imaginative. Mm-hmm. So you were always imagining things.
Something, yes. And I still am. I'm not much different now at 34 than I was
So when
I was young.
you appeared in that movie that was distributed, that locally made movie.
Mr. White, yes.
But that's being an actress.
Right.
Is that less of what you want? Like you really want to be the one who creates the story? That was a good story. But do you want to be the one who creates the story?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was the first time I've ever acted. It was the first time that I memorized lines and did all of that stuff. And it was a lot of fun. But what I can tell you is there were days where I wasn't on the itinerary,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to go because I wanted to help. I wanted to see
You
what
enjoyed
went
the
into
movie-making process?
Yes, the whole from start to finish. And Erica Summers, who did that movie, is so creative. She wrote the whole thing. She made the characters. She made the props. Everything. Behind the camera, everything. This woman is just unstoppable. So I wanted to watch every single thing that she did. And not because I want to go into script writing or movies or anything else, but when you're a creative person, it excites you to watch somebody else in their creative element. And when you would see Erica doing or behind there's so much energy, positive energy.
Right,
So it's just like, you get so excited for someone else who's doing the thing they love to do.
You know what's exciting to me? That in this day and age, we can do things that once upon a time you really had to be part of a select few. Maybe you were lucky, maybe you knew somebody. And a good example of this is you can have a radio show on the internet. You don't have to have a job at a radio
Sure,
station,
yeah.
right? You can write a book and self-publish it. You don't have to have Simon and Schuster knocking on your door,
Right.
You can make a movie now. You don't have to have, Paramount backing you or anything like that. It's so cool that you can do those things.
It is cool. I think sometimes it takes away from those who are truly gifted in their field. If someone is a truly gifted writer, and you don't just wake up one day and say, I want to write. There's a lot that goes into it. And it truly is a gift, just like anything else. Like being a fantastic mechanic or painter or hairstylist. You don't just wake up and say, I'm going to do it and go and do it. There's a lot of talent, thought that goes into those things. So when you have people that are now, internet sensations, everyone's an actress, everyone's I blog, so now I'm a writer.
Right.
You write.
Except the only exception I'll make to that is that those who are really good at it do seem to have more numbers.
Yeah, well,
So-
which makes sense.
Because it is a
makes
consumer-driven
sense.
thing,
Sure.
no matter what it is. I mean, if you're out there, and we have this all the time on the show that Robin and I do, we'll have an author, and we'll look at the numbers, and we say, we kind of figured that they would be small because you can kind of tell. And then the other ones are huge. We've had independent authors, people who've self-published, who had huge numbers, and you knew it. You knew it was going to come, and all we can speculate is that they will get that call from Simon and Schuster.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, if it's really in the stars, or if you believe in God, you believe in fate, whatever it is that you believe into your destiny, if that's what you're meant to do, through time, things will happen to you that I believe will, like they say in the Bible, you're clay and you're shaped. And so over time, you will become the final product of what it is that you're meant to be. So
Yeah.
the little things along the way help you learn and kind of shape you as that person. So I think that's what's fun about people who try lots of different things. Over time, they're just kind of
You have notes, and I haven't.
shaping themselves. Oh, no.
Do you want the phone? You have a phone call?
Oh, I do have a
Wanna take
phone call?
Yes,
Sure,
you do.
let's take a call.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good
Hello?
morning. Good morning, Kelly and Larry. This is Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
Hi. Amazing some of the things you talked about, and then I'm on hold for a while, and then some of the things that were just said. But you were talking earlier about words and change, and Kelly, you just mentioned God and words that can really change your life. And Kelly had put something on her Facebook. Months and months ago, and I started saying it, and those words were, thank you, Jesus, for everything. We can say thank you, Jesus, but Kelly added the for everything, and, I just had to share with Kelly, I don't even remember if I ever thanked her for those words, but my life has changed in so many ways by just saying throughout the day, thank you, Jesus, for everything, even in stress and turmoil and upset, to say that, and the impact of those words. And I just had to just call and thank you.
Well, thank you.
That's sweet. Yeah.
That is. And that's one of the beauties of social networking is people use it for business and to share pictures of their kids and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes what can touch someone's heart, you share it, not even knowing who's going to read it.
Right.
It can be like a domino effect. So thank you so much for calling and saying that.
Well, you're welcome. And, it really shows also the power of words and the power that words have. And sometimes
Yes.
just a phrase or a sentence that could really help someone, if it's for that moment, for that day, or for a lifetime. So thank you so much, and make and have a wonderful day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. That was sweet.
Very nice.
Yeah, I would say you are a leader in the community, obviously, and
Thank
making
you.
a big difference more than you realize.
Thanks.
Well,
That's nice.
you are a leader in this community.
Thank you.
And so embrace it and
That
run
comes
it.
with some pressure. Even when you don't realize you're a leader and people tell you, that definitely comes with some pressure because you have to walk a very fine path. If people are looking up to you that you don't even realize it, and you think, well, I better, I want to be a great person and great role model because my daughter's watching me, but people watch other people, and so I think it's very important that you go out every day and you try to be as kind to people as you can and as honest.
So what kind of things have happened to you, Kelly? that have given you a tough skin, a thick skin? What?
Oh gosh.
I mean, I have a list a mile long that had happened to me
Yes.
and Robin because we've been doing this, and you're kind of an easy target when you do this.
Sure.
And you slowly but surely get a tougher skin, a
Yeah.
thicker skin. What has done that for you?
What I guess it kind of started. Some things started that I was exposed to, like I had never been exposed to before, because Clint, played in the NFL for so many years.
Oh, right.
So
right.
I pick up from Ocala and I go and I visit these bigger cities that were completely new to me, with a completely different environment and lifestyle. Everything was new to me, and I kind of took a beating for a little while. I showed up at games as a player's wife in jersey and jeans and tennis shoes, thinking I'm gonna watch the game and tailgate, and then you see the other wives come in jeans and heels and bags and their makeup and hair done, and you're like, wow, didn't get the memo.
Competition? Or
Yeah,
something?
so it was always, she's too simple, she's small town, she doesn't fit in, she's not this, she's not that. And it can really hurt your feelings because you think, my gosh, I'm just here to support one person, not make friends or fit in. But, human nature, you want...
Where did Clint grow up? Where did he grow up?
In Webster, Florida.
So, and that's what I thought. I thought almost all professional sports guys are from, maybe there's a few from major cities. But.
They're accepted because they're the players, but then the spotlight kind of shifts on all the people around them, and me being around him, it was always on me. So it was, things said, and then, you get under the spotlight as a couple and people talk about your relationship, and they have lots of nasty, bad, mean things to say, and you don't know what motivates those things. And over time, you really have to find an anchor. And if your anchor is in family or faith or whatever it might be, you have to find a way to realize that my mother has always said, hurt people hurt people. And it sounds so simple.
So you feel bad for them.
You have to realize,
you're being nasty, so
why are they being nasty?
I'll say a prayer for you. Obviously, you've got
why
problems.
Why are they being nasty? Well, maybe it's because they're hurt, and so to hurt other people kind of takes the focus off whatever pain they're feeling. So, and then just in time, it seems like the more good things that you try to do in your community, not because you want to be a bigger person or you're trying to grow up, climb up this ladder or anything, you just genuinely are doing good things because you want to do good things in your community. And as you get older, you tend to love your community more, and so you think, wow, I really see things that could use some help, and you try to get out there and do it. And then inevitably there are people that just what do they call it? Crabs in a bucket is a saying I've always heard. That the crabs try to climb out, and the other crabs keep trying to bring you down. And so sometimes you feel that way. And eventually you have to come to a place where you just feel like you have to pray for other people or just ignore nonsense, because it can really get you off your path. And I think anything that's going to prevent me from doing the bigger, better good, then I have to just ignore, because I can't let other people keep you from doing your bigger purpose.
I felt Lauren's message when she said that your statement on Facebook, "Thank you, Jesus, for everything," had an effect on her. Because I think it's absolutely true that we thank God, we thank Jesus for everything. Including the things that we wish we didn't have to go through, because those things are the things that give you the tougher skin.
Sure. Well, a few weeks back I went through a really, really hard time with one of the other radio stations, and then a few people that jumped on that bandwagon, and it just happened overnight. I don't really even know exactly all the details, although I know some, but I don't know all the details of how and why that happened. And at first it was hurtful and sad, and you think, wow, why are these things being said? Then you realize some good things can come out of it. People reach out to you that love and support you never knew about.
When you were heading in that direction, I was going to say something, don't even bother, because it's just a waste of time. When you're trying to point out an adult grown man who uses the word banging every third paragraph, okay? Don't even worry about it.
I know.
I was going to tell you that, but I thought, you know what? Maybe you're having fun with it.
No,
why
really
not? It's like sparring a little bit.
Yeah, it really wasn't fun. You have to kind of keep a brave face, because you never want anyone to think they've gotten the better of you. But I'm human. I'm made out of skin like anybody else. And although I think I'm kind of a tough chick,
you're a tougher chick because of it.
I'm a tougher chick because of it. But things are still hurtful. And my family is not as tough as me. They've not been exposed to some things.
Good point.
So they're watching their daughter or sister or someone that they love be hurt, and there's a trickle effect there for sure. And so I went through that, and through that, some amazing things have happened. And I've gotten some support and love from people that I never even knew who I was. And so in fact, it was at that time that I posted that, I believe, because it was like, I have to thank God even for that. It was so hurtful. And we went through that for some reason as a family. I mean, my job, Ocala Magazine had to endure that because they're like, whoa, wait a minute, what's happening? So, but it makes people dig a little deeper into who you really are. And it for some people, they paid a little bit more attention to the things that I do and thought, wow, I didn't even know she was doing this. Let me help. Let me get on board. So it was really a good thing. And we have to realize that everything happens for its reason. And I was like, what? I have to thank God for that. Some really great things came out of that. I don't want it to happen again. It's not an open door for anything hurtful, but you have to thank God for every single thing. And when you have that attitude, you recognize that something bad can really turn into something positive if the attitude is there.
Great show today.
Thanks.
It's just us talking. Did we touch anything on your list?
Well, what I brought was it was really something basic, and I'll touch on it really quickly. Our next issue is going to have some amazing features and stories, and one of the new things we're introducing into the magazine is a section called Second Helpings, because resale and thrifting is such a trend, and it's becoming one of the biggest professional business industries now, and billions of dollars are being spent at these resale and thrift stores. And we realize that more and more people, not just people that can't afford to buy new, but people that can afford whatever they want, that are choosing They're frugal, and they're choosing to buy things that are unique and vintage and once loved. And so we are dedicating an entire section to that. So we're going to be focusing on advertisers in that section that own these types of businesses and profiling these people.
Like the Restore?
Yes.
Habitat?
Yes, exactly like that. And so I want people to pay attention to that. And if you are one of these people like myself who loves thrifting, I love the thrill of digging and finding amazing things and knowing I only spent a couple bucks for it, or getting a compliment on a pair of $2 shoes or something, then you're really going to enjoy this section. And we hope that people pay real specific attention to what's going on there. So we're excited about our new issue. I can't wait till it comes out.
You guys always do a great job with the magazine.
Thanks. We certainly try. Excellence is definitely our goal.
And you and John have done a great job with this radio show. It's just a lot of fun, and I'm glad nobody came in today. It was fun talking to you.
Thanks. Well, don't get used to it, because next week I'm sure we'll have a large
Don't
group.
get used to it.
We'll have a group next week for sure.
All right.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Why don't you